Like them or loathe them, Battlegrounds are one of the core pillars of content in the World of Warcraft. Starting life as the endgame for the more Machiavellian part of the community, Battlegrounds were a grindy affair with a limited range of options. Now, in the Shadowlands, we find ourselves with quite the selection and a healthy smattering of Battleground archetypes, including Capture the Flag, Domination, Payload Race, and vehicle combat. With so many different concepts, Blizzard has been susceptible to quite a few stinkers in their time, but also some real beauties. So with that in mind, let's get into it. Here is every Battleground in the World of Warcraft ranked from worst to best. Undoubtedly, some of the names on this list and their positions are going to cause some eyebrows to raise, but that's not on us, so take a look and let us know what you think. We built this list from a consensus of the Diana's Boys faithful, so if you're interested, hit the Discord link in the description, and if you disagree with our choices, let us know in the comments. Cheers. Number 13. The Seething Shore. For my money, there was never a doubt as to what was coming in last. Picture this. You load into your favourite game with the pals, queue up, enter the lobby, and you're faced with a charming, cartoony art style which undersells the barbaric nature of the game you're about to play. You can dance, you can change your outfit, you drop in and hang on, this is World of Warcraft, right? It's a simple mistake, and one that's made worse by the inclusion of this frankly confusing battleground. You see, Blizzard loves to playfully flirt with pop culture, with nods and references being present throughout the game. From Harris Pilton to Bill and Ted, you are never far from a sly wink to the outside world. The problem with the Seething Shore, though, is that it isn't a reference. This is a real battleground we have to play in, jump from the battleship and all. Fortnite is fun because you land and it's every man, or team, for themselves, and that feeling of anticipation of an enemy being around every corner elicits a sense of dread. The Seething Shore is much slower than that, and the way the game encourages you to stall and run around the map with tanks standing on the points makes it feel less balanced than it actually is. All in all, this lazy caching has done nothing to impress us, so Blizzard, stick to WoW. Number 12. The Battle for Winter's Grasp. Let's be honest, this battleground is a stinker. It wasn't always that way though. If you take a journey back in time to the hallowed days of the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, Winter's Grasp was a very different proposition indeed. Vehicle combat had just been added to the game, and Blizzard was still high on the possibilities, going as far to promise aerial combat on the game's box art. For those who weren't aware, the earlier WoW games had box art. Who would have thought that? As a balls to the wall, all-out war effort, Winter's Grasp can be a lot of fun, and as a mechanism to unlock a raid, it made a lot of sense. Blizzard was smart enough to make the raid that lay behind the warfield worth doing at the time. High-end loot, an amount you can hear about in one of our other videos, lay inside the Vault of Archivon raid. This meant that the battle was meaningful and a good opportunity for your faction to throw its weight around before taunting the opponents later that day in Dalaran. As a battleground though, it's plodding and has a tendency to leave the losing side feeling trapped and hopeless. Not a lot of fun for a trepid adventurer hoping for a bit of PvP mano a mano, so it's bringing up the rear on this list. Number 11. Deepwind Gorge. This is a battleground, isn't it? Deepwind Gorge is a puzzling little place. Its map size and shape actually feel quite nice. It's relatively circular, has some distinct areas, and a centrepiece flag in the middle you can clash for to gain the valuable centre point and a shorter run to the other bases on the map. Those of you that played the map when it first came out will remember the weird cart pulling mechanic from its release that was so strange and convoluted that no one actually really knew what to do, and it pretty much descended into the only person on the map who had a clue trying to carry before getting picked off by the opposing team. This one was probably more exciting then too. Now it just feels like a rehash of Arathi Basin, and whilst the art style is certainly a darn sight nicer, it doesn't do anything to warrant a place any higher on this list. Number 10. Twin Peaks. Anyone who didn't play the game between Wrath and Legion would be forgiven for not knowing what Twin Peaks is. In fact, Pogu, the hunter from our guild, genuinely thought this was a reskin of Warsong Gulch. If it was just a visual update to the iconic map, sure, it would feature in the top half of this list. We could go as far as saying it would even be pretty good. The problem is that this standalone map doesn't actually do anything, and for that reason, it doesn't deserve to be any higher. I don't know what to tell you. I guess the Horde side of the map has a bit of water that help our Shaman and Death Knight friends feel relevant, and the Alliance side has a cool opportunity to Goblin Glider down in a Ride of the Valkyries-esque fashion. That's it though. No discerning features, and one of the most infuriating achievements on your journey towards the Khan achievement. Number 9. The Battle for Gilneas. If you couldn't already tell, I'm an English gentleman from a well-to-do background, so I have to be honest, I feel right at home on this one. The Battle for Gilneas brings a bit of the Spookums vibe into the mix, which is different, but it takes more than a unique aesthetic to impress on this list. Most of the rehashes here we would mark down for being unoriginal, but something about this domination map makes it feel like its own proposition. Sometimes less is more, and this might just be the proof in the pudding. The fact that it's 3 bases makes the action feel constant, and a game of chicken ensues in which each team works on their game plan and makes its move. If you can cap in time, the effects can be massive. The obligatory 10v10 at the beginning of the map at the waterworks can set the tone, and it's often demoralising if your team gets whitewashed. That being said, cunning and smarts can still be used to take the lead in a pre-made of any size. If we had to pick one error of this battleground, it's the lack of dynamism. There isn't much to truly get excited about. The fights can be long and back and forth, but outside of that, what else? Nothing. Does look cool though. Number 8. The Temple of Kotmogu. At a certain point, I truly worried that Blizzard had lost its touch when it came to new battlegrounds, a belief that was firmly demolished the day that they released this absolute worldie. The Temple of Kotmogu is a unique battleground which often gets missed, so I'll explain. The map is a rectangle, which you can spawn on any side of. Once you spawn, you run into a big room with a sunken arena in the middle. Surrounding it, on every corner, is an orb of power. Holding this accrues your team points, and jumping into the arena in the middle rapidly accelerates the rate at which you earn points, first to 1500 wins. The battleground has all the ingredients to make something dynamic, exciting and replayable. It clocks in as one of the shortest on here, when done right, which really helps with the feeling of madness that surrounds it. Every second the intensity ramps up as the orb holders gain a stacking debuff increasing damage. It's a small arena too, meaning that the action is usually a 10 on 10 affair. The Temple of Kotmogu is a balls to the wall affair, and it firmly takes its place on this list. Number 7. Warsong Gulch. The one that started it all. The first battleground that many people will ever step foot in. The granddaddy, the icon, where it all starts again. Everyone has a Warsong Gulch story. I remember the first time I queued and realised I was playing against real people. That feeling of being one-shot by a level 19 Twink Rogue in full blue gear was really exciting and also horrific. Sure, it's just capture the flag, but honestly, that's the joy of it. 10 people roll out of each side, they decide to fight in the middle for a bit whilst one person actually tries to go and grab the flag, and another screams in chat, "Why always middle?" This tried and tested formula doesn't need anything. It's pure and powerful and will be with the game until its death. The visual upgrade helped Warsong feel like it deserves to be alongside all of the other maps in this game, and a bit of verticality in the bases also helps lend itself to some cool outplays with knockbacks and others. This formula just works. Number 6. The Eye of the Storm. An early showing for the first ever battleground that was added to the game after release here, one this particular narrator doesn't necessarily agree with, but Diana's Boys is a democratic organisation, damn it, and who am I to tell them that they are wrong? If you haven't played many battlegrounds in the last 13 years, then welcome, pull up a seat. Eye of the Storm is a King of the Hill style battleground with 4 bases connected by 3 bridges. The centre bridge holds a flag that, if captured and run back to their base, awards scaling points that increase for every base you hold. The Neverstorm aesthetic is a one-of-a-kind and shocking for how low-res and striking the palette is in 2021. I've at times played an elemental shaman, so the middle zone could not be more fun, as we blast our opponents off out into space. Sure, they'll just respawn, but it's the indignance of it that makes it fun. Eye of the Storm is not all fun and games though. It sometimes descends into a farce of fighting back and forth in the middle. 2 or 3 intrepid adventurers then go around and capture a base, causing the team to backtrack, and then all hell breaks loose. Eye of the Storm is overdue a visual upgrade, sure, but I for one believe it deserves its place in any battleground rotation. Number 5. The Isle of Conquest. Go docks, kill 40 horde, take the flag, protect the glaives, destroy the wall, get in, kill the boss. Job done, pick up the check, go home. There's almost certainly a few people who are watching this and seething at the inclusion this high up of this battleground. But hear us out. Vehicles can be a bit garbage, sure, but this isn't about vehicles, it's about how you counter them. Each base drastically changes the way you play the map, from dropping from the gunship, taking the tanks, or carefully protecting the glaives as they fire from afar. In our opinion, the emergence of a tactic that is the favourite just goes to show that there are tactics and counterplay available. It truly feels like a battle, and each IOC can be something different. The map is beginning to feel a bit haggard, sure, and 2 of the bases feel like they don't do anything at all, but guess what? None of that matters. The Isle of Conquest isn't a choice for the purists. It was never designed to appeal to the pencil-pushing thugs that have a 2600 arena rating. It's a Michael Bay film, a song by Green Day, a big silly old romp, and I feel better for having it in the game. Number 4. Ashran. I know, this one truly feels like I'm taking the mick. For those who didn't play Warlords of Draenor, and trust me, no one blames you for that, Ashran was that expansion to Winter's Grasp. It sort of had a function, although I'm not even sure that I believe that anymore. The point of Ashran is simple. 40 people from the Horde and 40 people from the Alliance leave their respective bases and charge down a road until they clash headfirst in the middle of the map. The ensuing struggle is as epic as it is long, as you aim to diminish the enemy team's reinforcements by killing them and killing them only. You're supposed to fight by the flags, at which point you push the enemies back further and further until you enter the colossal tussle with the final boss. A series of interesting NPCs will help you on your way, and whilst this battleground isn't particularly exciting, the chaotic nature and epic struggle more than make up for it, resulting in a true feeling of scale that's easy to miss in epic battlegrounds. There's also something with the side sections. I'm not going to get into it, it's complicated. You can get a boss unlocked by beating a boss, it's cool, whatever. Number 3. The Silvershard Mines. Hi ho, it's off to the mines we go, with a bucket and spade and a Russian pre-made. Silvershard Mines is a simple payload battleground plucked straight from Team Fortress 2. The battleground starts in a winding corridor before opening up into a big wide mine, adding to the feeling of chaos that surrounds the battleground. Your decision making will be important here as you dedicate people to try and flip the carts as they approach the end, trying to understand if you have enough time to do that if you kill all the Horde. And the moments can be massive, as you kick that all important heal which flips the cart in the very last second before it gets to the end. The last stand nature of fighting an oncoming braying mob is half the fun of this. Silvershard looks nice, and you never feel too far from flipping something and tilting the scales in your favour. All in all, it's a very nice map. Number 2. Altarak Valley. Before battlegrounds were normal or epic, there was one bad boy to rule them all. If you haven't played Altarak Valley before, where have you been? It's a bit on the complicated side, but I will explain. Each team has 40 people on opposite sides of a gargantuan map. You leave your base and head towards the enemy general. On the way is a mini-boss and 4 towers. Each one of these you kill or destroy makes the final encounter with Vanadar Stormpike or Drekfar easier. Graveyards can be capped, and that allows you to respawn nearer the objective you're aiming to take. Where AV really shines is the nuance and flourishes in the battleground. Rogues sneak ahead and ninja cap the final towers. The teams clash for the first time in the middle of the map, where few stragglers are picked off and everyone else runs ahead. The bridge by the Alliance base is ripe for knockbacks and a colossal struggle ensues. There's also a whole host of systems that have risen and fallen from popularity over the years. You can summon Ivers, give your troops armour, and go to the mine to try and farm up more resources. Once upon a time, AV games would last days. A far cry from the end of Legion meta, where each team would speed to the end of the map and immediately kill the last boss. It was madness. It would last about 5 minutes tops. Altarak has a place in people's hearts. Sure, it's gotten to be farcical at times, but that's why we love it. Like a drunk uncle who farts during conversations, but still gives you a tenner at Christmas. Ka-ching. Number 1. Arathi Basin. The other one that started it all, and whilst it isn't quite as iconic as its 10v10 counterpart, AB has a bit more going for it from a tactical standpoint. You see, there's 5 bases, the stables belonging to the Alliance, and the farm belonging to the Horde. 3 bases then make the belt that goes across the map on 3 different levels of verticality. Your battlegrounds basically follow one opener, which is predictable but exciting. You leave the base, fight at the lumber mill, someone gets blasted off, a fight ensues, one jackass will always try and cap over and over again, forcing the losing team's hand. It's a real Randall move, but by god is it effective in peeling some goon's attention. Once you cap the lumber mill, you can goblin glider down to the blacksmith. It's a very cool visual and an awesome way to start a surprise attack. The winner here is whoever can accrue the most bases by grabbing the banners that sit within. With so many skirmishes breaking out at all times, you need to be on top of your calls and never, ever fight not near a flag. I'm not sure why that is, because a kill's is a kill, but you've got to listen to chat. Arathi is the original domination battleground that set the scene for many copycats, always copied but never beaten, and that's why we think it's the best battleground in the World of Warcraft. That's it, our top 10. Disagree? Let us know in the comments. Otherwise, follow for our streams every week on a Wednesday and at the weekends, and remember to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you.